See also Queich Burn, a river in Scotland that flows through Milnathort in Kinross-shire. The Queich is a tributary of the Rhine, which rises in the southern part of the Palatinate Forest, and flows through the Upper Rhine valley to its confluence with the Rhine in Germersheim. It is 52 kilometres long and is one of the four major drainage systems of the Palatinate Forest, along with the Speyerbach, Lauter and Schwarzbach. The Queich flows through the towns Hauenstein, Annweiler, Trifels, Siebeldingen, Landau, Offenbach and Queich and Germersheim. Topography Sources. The Queich is 3 kilometers south of the municipality of Hauenstein at an elevation of almost 400 meters on the eastern slope of the 463-meter-high Mount Winterberg. It is taken surrounded with hewn stones from the typical local red sandstone. There are also benches and footpaths, course and tributaries. The Queich first flows as a small stream north through Stephansdal Valley to Hauenstein. It turns east and moves in large arcs through the Queich Valley. It flows past Wilgartswiesen and Rindal, where it meets its largest tributary, the Weldbach. It then flows past Annweiler and Trifels, where it meets its second largest tributary, the Eisbach, which begins at the confluence of Usebach and Ernbach. After about 20 kilometers, the Queich Valley opens up in Albisweiler towards the Rhine Valley. Here the hilly landscape of the Palatinate wine route begins. The Queich crosses under the German wine road in Siebeldingen. It reaches the city of Landau in a suburb named Germersheim. Here it reaches the open plains of the Upper Rhine Valley, after about 30 kilometers, and takes up the Burn back from the right. At the Ottersheim, where some of the water is diverted into the right distributary Speyerbach, which flows southeast via Belheim to Sondernheim. The main branch of the Queich flows northeast and reaches the Rhine in the northern part of the city of Germersheim. History. Mills, driftwood and paper industries. The hydropower of the Queich has been used to drive mills for a very long time. For the 13th century onwards, the Queich was also used for timber rafting. Timber rafting peaked in the middle of the 19th century. However, timber rafting required an adequate water flow. Splash dams were constructed to ensure this. However, while a splash dam is operational, the mills below it lack the water they need to run. When the timber rafting had completed, the splash dams would be torn down. Water was then abundant, but this often resulted in flooding the mill canals, and sometimes the mill canals were damaged by stuck logs. In 1881 finally managed to make the timber rafting stop altogether. Since 1881, the water is only used to drive the mills, except for one paper mill in Sandstall, who use the water for the manufacturing process, and release the polluted water back into the river. Albisweiler Canal and Fortress of Landau. The city of Landau was expanded to a fortress by Marshal Vauban in 1688–91, during the War of the Palatine Succession. As part of this project, the Albisweiler Canal was dug, a 12-kilometer-long navigable canal, connecting Landau to the quarry at Albisweiler. The canal ran parallel to the Queich and was fed with water from the Queich. The canal was abandoned in 1874. However, many traces of this oldest artificial waterway in Germany remain, for example the locks, with which the river water was diverted into the canal. Queich Line. During the War of the Austrian Succession in the 1740s, the French forces constructed the Queich Line, a line of fortifications between Landau and Hordet on the left bank of the Rhine. Even today, some earthworks can be found in the Hordet forest along the Spiegelbach. shift to the lower reaches. Recent research results suggest that the lower reaches of the Queich near Zeisgam were shifted to the north by about 2 kilometers. It's sometime in the past, perhaps already in the Middle Ages. The reason may have been that timber rafters needed to shift the confluence with the Rhine into the town of Germersheim. Transport. The Queich Valley Railway, the regional connection between Pirmasens and Landau, runs since 1875 along the Queich between Hauenstein and Landau. The nearest railway stations are Offenbach and Der Queich and Ottersheim, where the Queich only flows through the northern end of the municipality, without touching the settlements further south. The Federal Road B10 also runs along the Queich between Hauenstein and Landau. Below Landau, the Queich flows through wide meadows and Belheim Forest. This area is at best accessible using secondary roads. For bicycles, the well-developed road network of the Queich Valley Cycleway had been created. It follows the entire course of Queich from the source to its mouth.